Hi guys, welcome back to Scruffy Fam. So the last video you saw, we made our kids' pea gravel pool. Now, this is actually the same day, but it's a totally different project that we're taking on because we have a lot of projects going on right now. Okay, so our other major project is getting the spring garden bed ready for planting. It is time to get seeds in the ground. However, because we're on vacation, the soil has not been amended. We need to take down our old trellis that we used last year because I'm moving where the peas are going. I'm going to make a totally different trellis for this year that we need to assemble. Okay, so what we're working on right now is we have a whole bunch of our chicken compost that has really been kind of sitting all winter, and all of the stuff on the bottom is composted and all the stuff on the top is composting. So of course that's a problem. We need the stuff on the bottom. So we're gonna lay out a tarp. So hubby here is laying out a tarp and we're gonna empty the bin onto the tarp. Ideally we might come back and finish this tomorrow so that the stuff on the tarp can kind of dry out a little bit. But what we're gonna do is, so we're gonna let that dry out. We're gonna sift the stuff that's done and then add that to the bed. And I also have some bags of garden soil that I got from Costco. I'm probably gonna use some of that just because the bed is a good couple of inches short. And I don't want to use all of my compost on that because we do have some summer plants that are gonna be coming up needing to get put in. So this is probably gonna be a multi-day video because this is actually a pretty big project. But we will see how much we can get to tonight. So it occurred to me, we made our compost video last year and I don't think that we ever really showed this side of it. So what we've done here is we have emptied out probably about half of the bin. If you get down too low, you start getting into some of the bigger sticks that we put for aeration. And so then we just kind of dumped it out on this tarp. Probably tonight because it's supposed to be warm and sunny again tomorrow. We're going to spread some of this out so it can kind of dry a little bit. But we're scooping, you can see here, let me get a little bit closer. So this nice black rich stuff over here, that is our finished soil. But then over here mixed in, we have some of our chicken bedding that hasn't quite broken down all the way. So to separate the two, because we don't want to burn our plants with too much nitrogen from the chicken bedding, we have our handy dandy little makeshift sifter. I don't even remember where we found this thing. Didn't it come with the house?
So this was actually a door to our long-term compost that I took off the door and repurposed as a sifter. And so what we do is we take a scoop of our unfiltered stuff, put it on the top. You can see it's super scientific how we do this. I put everything on the inside and then I roll back and forth. And what this will do is all of the compost and small materials will go through the holes. These are about, I don't know,
half-inch?
Quarter to half-inch holes. Screen that's on the bottom here, which is fine. All of the good compost falls through. It doesn't take very long. You just put some gloves on, rub your hands back and forth, and then all the material that doesn't break down or hasn't quite broken down all the way yet, not a problem. Do a quick little shimmy. I take it over to our tarp and it goes back to finish breaking down. And then what you'll see in the bottom here is all those small bits of compost. That is black gold. You'll pay a lot of money at the store for that stuff. So.
And it's important when you're sifting that you don't push too hard because like some of the larger sticks can fit through that hole, but that's not what we want in our finished compost. So really it's just kind of lightly pushing it back and forth, and whatever's ready will fall through. You don't have to, force it too hard. And then we just kind of do this until the bin fills up, and then usually we keep them in 5-gallon buckets just to kind of continue aging until they're needed. However, I think most of this bin is going to be needed right away, and as is most of this pile. Actually, where this pile is, we want to build another garden bed here that's going to actually attach via an arch trellis to that bed over there. So we're gonna need a lot of this compost. Okay, so I wanted to kind of show the difference here. So over here is the soil that's been amended with our compost. You can see it's already kind of turning a darker color from that. And then see how far the soil line is from the wood. We really need to build this up and improve the texture of the soil, because last year when we grew root vegetables in here, they just didn't have the space to get nice and big because it was so dense and compact. So what we did is Costco has these amazing, super inexpensive bags of planting soil. And so we just dumped a whole one in here, and now I'm gonna kind of rake it around, mix everything together, and then we will be ready to build our trellis. And we're gonna put in some of the markers because I do square foot gardening. And then we will finally be ready to plant our seeds. Long process. All right, guys, so this is day 2 of getting the spring bed ready. And today is actually Easter. So we had our very first in-person church service this morning for Easter. That was really cool, getting to see a bunch of people again that we really miss. And then we came home, kind of did some family. We do Easter baskets and a little egg hunt. We did it in the front yard for the kids. They had a lot of fun. And then they were wiped out. So heated quiet time. Shiloh was still asleep. And so I was kind of waiting for the sun to go down a little bit before I really got into putting together the trellis and then planting seeds. I didn't want to plant them at the heat of the day. I did kind of pre-moisten the dirt a little bit, and I think I'll probably hit it again right before I actually put seeds in. But I do want to show you guys the trellis because it is done, and actually I think it looks really cool. So let's go look at that. All right, so here is our pea trellis this year. I think it looks a lot neater and a little bit more decorative than before, but should still totally be functional. And it was super cheap and easy too. So these are bamboo rods. I got them from Menards, which if you're not familiar with the Midwest is kind of like Midwest Home Depot and Lowe's, except way cheaper. They were 4 packs of the 6-foot long 2 4-packs of these 6-foot tall poles, and then remembered that this bed is only 4 feet wide, so I had Joe cut down 3 of them. So the crossbar here, and then there's the 2 crossbars down here. And you could have just done it with a hacksaw. I think he did a miter saw, but they're super easy to cut down to whatever width you need. And then the 4 up and down posts are 6 feet. I have them driven into the dirt really kind of as far as I could get them, just manually, so it's fairly sturdy. I still have yet to actually go in and water around it so that it kind of fills in some of those air pockets, but you know, the bamboo poles are hollow, so some of that dirt is actually up inside. That'll help keep it where it is. But you know, like I said, it has some flex. Obviously it's bamboo and string, so you know, in the wind it should be totally fine. Now for connecting these bad boys, so you'll see I started off with the twine. I tried to do, you know, an over under and wrap around, and it was still just had too much give up and down, so I finally said bunk it and just used zip ties, which you'll see there's 2 here and then 2 on the other end, just because it was a wider area. And then down here on the bottom, I just have zip ties holding everything together. And then I tied a knot here with my roll of string, and then I just have it wrapped around the bottom pole, up and over. Let me back up a little bit to explain this. So I have a knot tied here, and then I have it going down around the bottom pole, up and over on the other side, down around the bottom pole. So this entire thing is one long continuous piece of string. So this is one long continuous piece of string, which just saves having to tie a whole ton of knots. And then I do have it kind of double wrapped around and then tied right over here. You can kind of see that. Yeah, so the trellis is in, and like I said, I think it looks a lot neater than before. It's not too big. This is probably about how high the peas are gonna grow anyway. At least that's how high they did last year. And then this also gives me the ability to do 2 rows of peas. So I can have probably 6 to 8 per square. Probably a little bit less here where they have the little corner pieces, but you know, you kind of get the idea. We can have, they're gonna grab across all of these strings, and eventually it's gonna be a huge hot mess because they're tendrils, but you know, it'll help them go up and at least not out into the rest of the plants. So now we need to go get the seeds that we're gonna put in this bed. Levi Joseph, I am doing video. I will help you in a minute. Oh my goodness. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get the seeds that are gonna go in the rest of this video, and let's see if we can get something planted tonight. Okay, so here's kind of a rough layout of where things are going to be going for now. And again, I'm doing square foot gardening, so we're doing square foot gardening spacing. So here we've got the red Russian kale. There's going to be 2 of those. They're going to be kind of in the corners. And then this is the premier kale that we tried last year. 2 of those also. And lettuce, there's going to be 4, well, probably 3 for that square, but 4 for this square. That's the Bloomsdale spinach. So there's going to be 9 of those for each of these 2 squares. And then here we have the first year I'm trying this Asian spinach tatsoi. I think, let me check my notes here. Yeah, we're going to have 4 of those, so it's kind of like the lettuce. And then here we're going to be doing radishes, and that's going to be 16. And then these 2 rows are supposed to be onions. I totally missed the boat on getting those started because of our vacation, threw everything off. So I kind of have to scramble and figure out how to get those started. They're going to get in the ground late, is what it is. Hopefully we can still get some sort of a harvest from them, even if I have to just go buy the little starts or the little onion sets and do it that way. You know, worst case, we'll do that, but I do want to try to start them from seed. And then here, we're not quite ready for them yet, but this row is going to be all beets. Those will probably get put in next weekend. It's still a little tad bit too early for them. And then we have this big pot here, which currently has nothing in it, actually, I don't think. That's going to be my carrots, and I'm probably going to end up getting another one of those because, as you saw my seed video, I got a lot of carrot seeds, and I'm going to try a lot of varieties. So I can plant them pretty thickly in those, but I'm definitely going to want another one so that I can actually have enough of all the varieties that I got. So that one will be carrots. This one over here is my dandelion experiment currently, because I really want to get dandelion roots, but come fall, I don't know where they are in our yard, and I don't want to dig up everything. So I figure we actually just took like one of those dandelion puffballs and shook it over it, and now it's actually growing dandelion leaves. So come this fall, I will just be able to dig the roots out from there, and hopefully that will work. This is the theory for last year, and ended up having twins in the fall, so it just kind of overwintered as is. And then over here, this is our sage. It hasn't started coming back yet, but that thing's pretty hardy. We actually dug it out of the ground when we first got here. It was over by the chicken coop, and it thrived in there last year. So I'm really looking forward to it coming back. All right, so that is our plan for today. So let's see if we can get going on this. So that is all but 3 rows of this planted so far. And then, like I said, we'll be coming back to the beets probably next weekend, and then I have to figure out what to do for the onions. Yeah, so now I'm gonna mist these a little bit. I don't want to displace the seeds, especially the little ones like the kale and the lettuce, and some of these over here are really small seeds. So I'm gonna hit them with the mister, and then really important here for where we live. Is actually covering this with bird netting, because we have squirrels, chipmunks, rabbits. They all like to come in here and dig up all of my seeds. And covered with bird netting last year, and everything germinated, everything grew, nothing was stolen. Once it kind of got really later in the season, we did have some critters come in and try to dig some holes, but it was like holes where there wasn't anything there anymore anyway, so it was a moot point. But while everything was, you know, just kind of getting established, that really worked to protect this bed. And then we also have a product that we just got from Costco. I haven't tried it, and I'm not entirely sure. I have to read the instructions again, but I think you put it on the perimeter, and it's supposed to be like a deterrent for critters. So I'm gonna go see if I can find that and our bird netting and get this thing sealed up for the night. Okay, so this is the product that I was telling you about we got from Costco that's supposed to keep animals away. So basically it's just a blend of like rotten egg whites, garlic, and clove. Apparently it's supposed to work. I guess we will find out. You don't apply it directly to the crops themselves. So you don't apply this directly to the crops themselves that you're gonna be eating, but you put it like in a perimeter around your garden bed for about 6 to 8 inches. So I'm gonna go grab some gloves, and I did also find our bird netting. So like I said, I'm gonna grab some gloves, sprinkle this around, and then you kind of water it in lightly. Should last up to 2 months. We will see. Like I said, the bird netting did great before, but this I'm interested to put around some of our pots and see if that protects them. So let's go try these out. All right, so we've got the gloves. Cut this open. I'm curious to see how it smells to people. I don't really smell anything. That's a blessed relief. A little bit of a smell, but not, at least to me, doesn't smell like it would be too bad. We're also supposed to water it in, so hopefully they smell it and not really us. One other thing I did want to mention is this occurred to me. Chickens have a really sensitive respiratory system. So I'm going to be focusing where I sprinkle this. I'm not going to be putting it on the other side of this bed. You can tell there's only like 18 inches between this bed and their coop. I really don't want this to hurt them, so I'm probably just going to focus on over here, and maybe a little bit down this walkway here. And then I'm going to be putting it on the outside by the yard. Most of the chipmunks that we've seen kind of run through this mulch area over here, because it's a little bit more protected, but you know, the health of my chickens has to come higher than that. We are going to be doing some other stuff, like, you know, getting some fake snakes to toss around, and even like one of those fake owls that you move every so often to make them think that they're going to get hunted. So, you know, there's some non-scent ways to do this as well. And we're going to try that also, because we just have so many areas of our yard that just got ravaged by them last year, and I'd really like for that to not happen again. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this around this edge here, the edge on the yard, and a little bit here on the walkway. And then we're going to water that in, as well as mist the bed, and then put down the bird netting, and we will be done for today. right, just in time. Sun's starting to actually drop back behind the clouds. I think that's a good couple days work. I think we are all set for now. The bird netting, we have these T-posts here to hold the inside fence and the outside fence, which really the outside fence is for the chickens. And so I like to kind of hook the bird netting on the T-post, and that helps it to kind of stay in place. And I've had it where, you know, there's little gaps, and sometimes, you know, like the chicken wire doesn't stay perfectly straight, and it doesn't really seem to matter too much. I'm really not sure what it is about bird netting that has deterred chipmunks and such so splendidly, unless it is actually birds that were stealing our seeds. But anyway, it worked really great. So I'm excited to see this bed grow and start germinating and get this growing season and to get on with this growing season and get some food going. So let's give one more shot here of our beautimous spring bed. And that's gonna be it for today, guys. Gotta head inside. Gonna make our Easter dinner for today. So if you like what you see, you want to see more of it, we're definitely, you know, this is just projects 1 and 2 of a really long list. So we still have our compost pile to attend to. We're still landscaping out front, re-landscaping out front. We're also going to be building at least one more garden bed, if not a couple. We're going to be putting in a cattle panel trellis, a cattle panel arbor. So there's lots of stuff coming up. So if you want to see any of that, you want to see our family, and you know, as the weather gets nicer and as the twins get bigger, they'll get out here also, and I'm really excited for that. So go ahead and subscribe to our channel, click the like button, and then follow us on Instagram. Our main Instagram is @thescruffyfam. Joe mostly posts to that one, but he posts fairly frequently. Mine is @thescruffymama. I'm trying to post more often, so please be patient with me. I always think of it afterwards. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have put that on my Instagram. So we're getting there, we're learning. But thank you guys so much for your support and for coming along with us, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks, bye.